Just listen. Good morning, good afternoon, and welcome to another episode of Joy Drive. If you're new to the channel, this is the kind of that I really love to do. We've come to a beautiful place called Beverley to look at a beautiful car whose owner has the greatest story for how this thing got in the country. We'll let him explain later on. So it's a 66 Mercury. For those of you that obviously know your cars, I'm getting a crash course today on this thing. Obviously it's kind of a Ford, but it's not a Ford, like Ford, Lincoln, Mercury. They're all kind of on the same level, but not intermixing. So it has got an engine swap, of which I cannot remember the numbers, but we'll let the owner explain that because I'll just get it wrong and you'll all comment on how wrong it is. So we'll get to that later on. One of only 3 and one of only 1 registered as far as we know. Hold on. It's a bit dark. So there's the interior. Super nice dash, new super nice gauges, Recaro seats. So yeah, that's the car we've got today. So yeah, let's take a look around this car, take it for a drive, and see what this kind of car is all about, rather than all of the other stuff that's on this channel. So yeah, let's crack on.
Was that dream?
So I was sent to America from a mining company to have a look at some mining equipment that had been decommissioned, and we wanted to bring it back to WA during the mining boom. While we were there, we were travelling between a hotel and the mine site each day, and there was a really nice lime green 67 Mustang convertible that was for sale on the side of the road. Unfortunately, the guys I was working with, we were either running late in the morning and we couldn't stop, or really wanted to get back to the hotel to have a beer in the afternoon, so we couldn't stop. So on one of the last couple of days that we were there, I pretty much commandeered the hire car that we had and went out to have a look at it. Looked over the car, and the old boy that owned it came out and had a chat with me. He said come to the barn and have a look at all the spare parts that he's got for the car. We walked into the barn that didn't look like it had been opened in a couple of 100 years, and there was just the headlights for this sticking out of the front of a big basically pile of rubbish and hay. I saw the headlights and I thought, oh, that's a ZD Fairlane, that's an Australian car. And the old boy turned around and said, nah, that's my race car. And I said, race car? Can we have a look at it? And he goes, oh, yeah, the motor's shot in it, but if you want to have a look at it, by all means. So we pulled all the crap off it, and there it was, this 66 Mercury Comet Cyclone GT. Never even heard of them before. Didn't even really know about Mercury. And anyway, I said to him, look, I really like this car, I want this car. And he said, well, look, I've never really considered selling it. I bought it just to race the local kids. So what had happened was the road that we were going up and down to the mine site each day, in the late 60s and early 70s, it was where all the kids from the town went out to race on a Friday and a Saturday night. He had 2 options. He could either call the cops every time they're out there, or buy something and go out there and show them how it was really done. So obviously, being a car guy, he did the second option. So he called the Mercury Lincoln Ford dealership that was in town and said, what's the fastest car you've got on the lot? And the dealership told him that they'd just got in this 1966 Cyclone, and it's basically a NASCAR. It's just been homogenised for racing, they're going to sell off 1,000 of them so they can race them at NASCAR. And he said, fine, send that to me. And they said, oh, do you want to come and have a look at it? And he goes, no, but if it's the fastest car you've got, send it out. So they shipped it out to him on the truck, came off the truck and into his driveway, and it had 10 miles on the clock. And that was it. All it ever did for its whole beginning of its life was race up and down that one road out the front of this old boy's place, racing all the locals. He eventually, unfortunately, blew the motor in it. It had a Cobra Jet 427 big block motor. I've got the block for that motor, but the rest of it's gone. He said if he'd run out of beer, he said if I brought him a couple of packets of beer, then the car was yours. So I jumped in the hire car and bang shifted it all the way into town as quick as I possibly could. Bought 2 cartons of Bud Light, threw them in the back of the car and sped all the way back out there. And by the time I got out there, he'd pulled the car out and inflated the tyres. We came back the following morning and got the car and shipped it back to Perth. So that was the beginning of this car.
So Adam's going to let me drive it, so thank you very kindly to him. I believe this is a rare playlist, so sorry to all his mates that haven't been contributed as some round-off YouTube does. Apologies ahead for that.
So they don't get to drive it because I know how they drive.
So yeah, obviously I've never driven something like this before. So yeah, this is going to be an interesting experience, and we're just going to run through the driving experience.
The ins, outs. Oh, okay. So first of all, shifters this side, not the other side.
Yeah.
Big no-no, don't press the black button.
Okay.
That's flames. So
Okay, yeah.
if you hit that, the engine will come out.
Yep.
It's gated, so you've got to pull up to bring it back.
Okay.
Just go drive, don't worry about 1 or 2.
Yep.
Brakes sometimes.
Yep.
So
Plan ahead.
plan ahead.
Yep.
After if you've gone over 3,000 RPM,
Yep.
you'll have brakes.
Yep.
If you haven't, then you don't.
Yep.
And the accelerator is very touchy. You've got a shift light to warn you if you get too far. It will rev out to 9,000.
Cool.
But yeah, you might not want to do that. You know what the button on the floor is?
That one?
Yep.
No.
That's your high beam switch.
For the headlights.
Yep. And that extra pedal over there isn't a clutch, that's the handbrake.
No way.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. Everyone's probably watching this going like, this guy's a moron, he doesn't know anything. I haven't driven like American or proper old school Australian cars. So.
It's fine. Look, this car is very unusual. And cool. One last thing. There you go.
Cool. Is this the kit it came with?
No. No, I put central locking in.
Ah, cool.
And got that here.
Okay, cool. Do I have to be on the brake to start it?
No. No, not in 1966. Gotta push it all the way in. Yep. And turn it.
Alright. First start.
Give it a bit. Accelerate a bit. There you go.
I'm looking forward to this. I hope you guys are. So I know there's going to be a few people that want to know this kind of stuff. I'm going to gloss over it, so this is going to be a very short segment. So it's a crate motor from America. I'm going to show you the page. I have it up here. That's the page there. I'm going to link it in the description below. It's a 363 cubic inch. around 500 horsepower. It has a Holley carb on it, which you've seen obviously previously in this footage, and there's a few little tweaks on there, but it's basically stock, so maybe with transmission losses maybe 450, 400-ish. It has a 3-speed auto in it, which I know is going to sound very strange to some of the English audience. Australians love autos here, and anyone will tell you autos are faster, so just bear that in mind. So that's the technical bit done. Back to video. Okay, so hopefully you can hear me with this mic. If not, I'll make some dubs, it'll be fine. It's hard to describe, you kind of just have to get into it. Obviously it's an old car, everything's, you know, a little bit loose, but it's just the character, you have to just love it. Yeah, this is a good sound. This is a good sound. The brakes, I see what they mean. See what Adam means, yep. Alright, so we're at the town of Beverley, so we're cruising at 50. I promise. It sounds weird as well, but you don't realise how big the car is when you're inside the car. Obviously it's a 3-ton beast outside, but inside, I'm in a little Getz. That guy must be speeding because he has a loud car. Yeah. Oh, it's a Mustang, let's blame on him. What are you doing here? They did put their hand up, by the way. That's very nice of them. The brakes are like trying to stand on a rock. To tell them thanks for indicating, mate. So all good. Don't worry about it. Don't worry about indicating. No worries. So there's me saying you don't know about the size of the car, except when you're trying to turn right around an island. Where the island? I don't know. Certainly got more torque than my little Honda. Especially as the Honda's only got like 10 of them. Just listen. Woohoo! See, that's what it's all about. Who gives a shit about steering, brakes, whatever? Character and that. That's what it's all about. Alright, so thank you so much for Adam and Gemma for hosting me today up in the beautiful Beverley. Look at this place, it makes a bit of a change to the normal Perth scenery that you guys are used to, especially me actually. So, as you would have seen, I scared myself absolutely shitless in this thing. So thanks very much for Adam for letting me drive it. And thanks very much for Gemma as well. She drove the trusty Potato, and I hung out of the sunroof, so all those drive-by shots that you saw that I got for you guys, I nearly died doing, so hit that thumbs up for the nearly dying. Thank you very much. So as always, thank you so much for watching, and as always, subscribe, and I hope to see you in the next video. Peace!